You're laying flat on your stomach, wiggling your body between the jagged rocks that surround you. The roof of the cave is only a few inches above your back, and you scarcely have room to move your arms. The sound of your breathing is amplified by the tight, rocky space around you. You push away the feelings of discomfort and will notions of exploration and adventure in their place as you wade through the trickling stream under your stomach with only the light from your headlamp to light your way. Suddenly, the steady trickle of the stream fades into a larger rumble. You know the unmistakable sound, but what can you do when you're 2 miles into a cave with people in front of and behind you when a flash flood hits?
Absolutely not. Roll that intro.
Are you claustrophobic?
I got very uncomfortable while you were reading this.
Good.
Little mean, but okay.
Welcome back to Calamity Janes.
Welcome.
I'm Madison.
I'm Bailey.
That's Bailey. We are two sisters, two anything but plain Janes, who every week will discuss disaster, calamity, mayhem, tragedy, claustrophobic things that happen. Here we are. I'm feeling good.
I'm trying to shake off that eerie intro by just really overdoing it over here. So
great. You look luminous in that beautiful red sweater.
If by luminous you mean sweaty, you are correct. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. You're glistening. It's okay.
That's right.
On June 24th, 1967, 10 young cavers sought out to explore the Mossdale Caverns, a cave system in Yorkshire Dales, England.
Cavers. That's the right word? What's the difference between a caver and a spelunker?
That's a great question. The article that I was reading, referred to them as cavers.
Interesting. Maybe it's a UK thing.
It totally might be.
Okay.
But I don't know. I genuinely do not know.
Okay. Fair. I'm taking my socks off right now. It's hot. It's so hot in here. I'm very warm.
It was really hot here in Omaha too today. It was really warm. Okay. A large stream called Mossdale Beck flows through the cave system and has been shown to resurge about 4.4 kilometers away. There's only one entrance to the cavern system, and it is rated as a grade 5 difficulty or super severe. Which
5 out of what?
5.
Okay.
There are caves and potholes. Meaning there are caves and potholes which include very strenuous sections or large and wet underground pitches. It's like the hardest cave you could try to get through.
Every time anyone talks about a cave, I think of the movie The Descent. That's what I imagine every cave in the world is The Descent.
I think I've only seen that movie once, and because that's where her hair gets caught in the rope or something. Like, I mean, a lot of stuff happens in that movie.
I was going to say, that is not the most memorable part of that movie for me, but it might,
Was The Descent supernatural at all or spooky, or was it just like about a spelunking gone wrong?
It does take I don't know if supernatural is the right word, monster kind of.
Monster.
turn.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I just remember very specifically watching a caving movie, and
I think we watched it together.
We might have.
I've seen it twice, and I think one time was with you.
Probably. And as this girl is descending, she's hooked up to like all of her gear, and her hair gets caught in the gear, and it rips her scalp up. And that's all I remember from the movie, and I was like, nope, no.
And see,
no,
I
thank
don't
you.
remember that at all because there are so many other scary things that happens in that movie.
Well, yeah. I think it was just because it was so icky and so realistic.
Yeah.
And that's something that could happen to anyone doing a lot of things. So anyways, let's talk about this tragedy instead.
Yes.
Bob Leakey first explored the cave system in 1941. By the early 60s, caving became a bit of a fad with improvements in gear. Caving was more accessible to the masses. In 1963, Mike Boone and Pete Livesey reached the end of the known cave but did not create an accurate map of the caving system. Enter Leeds University Union Speleological Society. The University Caving Club was determined to create an accurate map of the Mossdale Caverns. The club managed to identify areas of the cave they thought wouldn't flood, and with a slightly more accurate blueprint of the cave's layout, suddenly Mossdale was open to anyone who was willing to try.
How exciting.
So it sounds like when Bob Leakey first explored the cave, he created a very rough map from memory mostly.
I guess I don't know why I'm surprised by that. It's not like I don't know what I was expecting or how I was expecting a cave map to be created, but that somehow wasn't it.
So, and I think everyone else who was going in, the articles that I read did not launch too much into this specific point, but you raise a good question. I'm not sure when we get a little bit more into the specific incident, what kind of information they were working with. But like I said, the club did identify more specifically areas of the cave they thought would be safe from flooding, and they created a better blueprint.
I'm assuming that there is some obviously there's some methodology for determining what is prone to flooding and what's not. But it's dawning on me that when you go into places like this, you are relying on someone, a human, to say, good, you're good, it's safe.
Yes.
And I'm now realizing how prone to human error that may or may not be.
You're exactly right.
Freaky.
Now, back to our early June morning in 1967.
Do we have to?
10 young cavers walked from Conestone Village to the cave entrance. Only 2 of the cavers, 26-year-old, he was the oldest of all of these people, 26-year-old Dave Adamson and recently married 24-year-old Jeff Borrow, had been to Mossdale before. They were accompanied by Morag Forbes, 22, who was engaged to marry Adamson in July of that year. John Ogden, Jim Cunningham, and John Shepard were all 21 and came from a Bolton caving club. Colette Lord, 19, accompanied them. The rest included members from a Bradford caving club, Colin Vickers, 23, Bill Frakes, 19, who were both excellent experienced cavers, Michael Ryan, 17, who was a promising beginner. So they all knew to expect really severe, intense conditions, but they definitely had varying degrees of experience. They were taking it very seriously, but it's just a really dangerous, like still pretty unknown, the specifics of it.
How many people at this point had really been in this cave system?
I think it was only 2.
Oh.
Yeah. Dave Adamson and Jeff Borrow. It might have only been, I think it was just Dave and Jeff.
Basically the people who mapped it and the club who.
I think there have probably been other people who'd been inside of it before, but of our group of people, those are the only 2.
I see. I gotcha. I was asking period, total. How many people had been in this cave?
It's not like the moon. I think other people had been there before.
Yes, but had they come out?
I think to my knowledge, yes.
Okay. So there was a reasonable suspicion that this was going to be a perfectly normal caving experience.
Yeah, and I didn't go too much into it. I think it's from the Independent. The link is always in the show notes, but the link that is in the show notes will take you to an Independent UK article, and they describe what it looks like, and it's really unassuming because it is just a stream that goes into kind of a rocky, cavernous area, and I don't think very many people would know that it's there or would be all that interested in going into it, but caving became very popular in the 60s in the UK, so
this sounds like Bushman's Hole.
It does.
This
it does
very
sound a lot like
unassuming,
it.
Sort of like, it's this, it looks like a pond, but little do you know, it goes all the way through the Earth's crust.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Adamson, the leader of the trek, and Burrow intended to blast a blocked passage in the cave.
So they're bringing explosives.
Mm-hmm.
Can they do that? Okay.
I think so.
I guess they were gonna.
UK, I do not know any of the specifics, but I do know that the UK has a different situation than we do when it comes to federal lands and who has the rights to do things to them.
Sure.
So I think the issues that we would be thinking of would be different there. You know, because
Gotcha.
we would never go to a cave and be like, I want to go over there, but it's blocked. Let's blow it up.
Yeah, right. You'd be like, but someone clearly owns this. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have zero knowledge about anything going on in the UK. I just, from my experience studying ecology and conservation in Scotland, was told they have a very different legal system when it comes to things like that there. Especially in the 60s when there were no rules.
Anything went. Anything went.
Okay, the rest of the 8 cavers were there for support and bragging rights. The weather was fair, but like most summer afternoons in England, rain was a strong possibility. After beginning their trip into the cave, Cunningham and Shepard decided the forecast was too risky, and when the 2 female cavers decided the same, all 4 turned back and wished the remaining 6 well.
Something tells me they did not regret that decision.
I think you would be right. I think they ended up having some very complicated feelings about that decision.
Okay.
Yeah. The 4 finally reemerged at 5 p.m. and were met with a light drizzle. So they did go into the cave, but they did not go as far as they were planning to. And it still took them several hours to come out.
So they are aware that flooding is a possibility.
Yes.
Which is why they turned back, presumably.
Part of it, yeah.
Gotcha.
I think they also might have just thought, this is a really intense level 5 cave. Maybe I am not prepared for this, especially considering that it is extremely prone to flooding.
Yes. Which is so, I guess have no idea where geographically we were talking about this cave being to understand if it's near a river. Like, the fact that a light drizzle could potentially...
Well, hang on.
Okay.
So they finally get out at 5 p.m., the 4 of them that turned back, and they were met with a light drizzle. Thinking nothing of it, Cunningham and Shepard drove Colette back to Ingleton, which I assume is where she is from. The remaining 6 were not expected before midnight. So Morag, I think that's how you would say her name, eager for her fiancé's return, sheltered in a nearby barn. The rain began to pick up and quickly turned torrential.
Oh.
She returned to the cave entrance twice out of anxiety, fear for what's going on,
Sure.
maybe hoping they turned back early.
Absolutely.
She went back twice and was shocked to see how fast Mossdale Beck was rising. And that's the stream that runs through the cave.
Ah.
The area received 1 inch of rain in 3 hours.
That
That's a
is... Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When she returned at 9 p.m., the cave entrance was completely covered by turbulent water.
Can I Google this to understand what... Okay. What is this called again?
Mossdale Beck, or the Mossdale Cave incident.
I see. It is very unassuming.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You really would not know that this is happening.
It is like a stream going into a cliff face is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a very small stream. However, it looks like you literally have to walk in the stream.
Yes, yeah. The whole time you're walking in water. And when they're starting this, it's tiny. It's not a big deal.
And this looks like the barn that... Wow. 100% no. It's a no for me. Mm-mm.
So when she sees that the only entrance to the cave that her fiancé and 5 of their friends or 5 of their fellow cavers has entered is completely blocked off by water, she sprints 2 miles to Yarnbury Farm, where the owner calls the police. By 11:10 p.m., a rescue mission was underway.
How are they going to get down there?
There are lots of questions.
Okay.
The Upper Wharfdale Fell Rescue Team was tasked with the mission. However, with still no established map of the caving system and Mossdale Cavern's dangerous reputation, team leaders Len Huff and Des Birch knew they needed help. They soon called the Cave Rescue Organization, who knew that at 11:30 at night, their cavers would all be in pubs.
Ooh, that is expected, but I still didn't see it coming. Did not see that coming.
Soon, phones were ringing in pubs all around the area. One such call...
They're not stopping. They're summoning them. They're summoning in them. Okay. Okay.
One such call was to Barton Arms, which is a pub, where Cunningham and Shepard just so happened to be unwinding after their anticlimactic day, because those are 2 that turned back early.
Mm-hmm.
They just so happened to go back to this pub that got this distress call.
Mm-hmm.
Upon hearing the conditions of the cave's entrance, they grabbed their still damp gear and returned to the cave.
Okay.
When Cunningham and Shepard returned to the cave, any hopes they'd had for an easy rescue were dashed when they saw a lake in place of the cave's mouth.
Yep.
Rescuers worked through the night to dig a diversion ditch 6 feet wide, 10 feet deep, and 100 yards long. They built a 10-foot dam, which was 15 feet thick and 70 yards long.
How many people is this?
I think it was in total about 300 people
Okay.
were ultimately involved in this.
Okay, because I'm thinking, sorry, 2 people are digging a diversion trench?
Because they were recruited along with all of the other cavers and the rescue team.
I see. So there is quite, wow, caving really is big at this time. That's a lot of people.
Yes.
And I guess, you think about it, someone gets a call at a pub and you hear what's going on.
And you're like, we can dig.
Yeah.
We don't need to be cavers to dig.
Yeah, we got 2 hands. We got shovels. We got whatever. Let's help.
Yeah, exactly. So the dam was highly unstable and was later reinforced by 10,000 sandbags. The structures
and just
required...
the resource. I guess if it's prone to flooding, they might have had the sandbags laying around. But just, wow, what a quick assembly that was. Good for them.
Yeah. The structures required constant repair, but rescuers were tireless in their efforts. By late morning, the water level was falling with the help of water pumps and the structures created by rescuers. 41-year-old Jim Eyre, who had... I think it's like Jane Eyre. So I think it's Eyre, yeah. Okay, 41-year-old Jim Eyre, who had always feared and warned others of the cave's dangerous potential, was set to lead the rescue mission into the cave. He was not excited about this. I think he was very scared, and he was very brave.
Yeah.
Eyre was accompanied by Cunningham and Shepard, John Rushton, and Frank Barnes. Barnes was close childhood friends with John Ogden, who's still in the cave, and knew Ogden's father was anxiously awaiting good news about his son at the cave's entrance. Because now we've got family and other people in the town who are helping or just hoping against all hope that these people are going to swim out of this cave or walk out of this cave. The rescuers, upon entering the cave, walked into a war zone. Foam filled the ceiling of the cave while high waters lapped at their feet, and it became more and more apparent that the mission was a lost cause. Soon, portions of the cave were dry, and the rescuers proceeded. The next portion, named Far Marathon, was a 900-foot crawl that was only 10 inches high and 2 feet wide. It was too tight for most if they encountered any survivors.
Who looks at a just tiny hole in the ground and is like, I'm going to crawl through that?
Yeah.
Today, crawling through that.
You and I are on the same page. I don't understand why anyone... There's another caving accident. It's called the Nutty Putty Cave incident. I don't know if you've heard of it before. It has a really silly name, but it's really horrible.
I think you told... I don't think we did an episode, but I feel like maybe we just talk about disasters so much we didn't cover it in an episode, but I'm almost positive you told me about this.
I'm pretty sure I did. I'm not going to do an episode on it because it's just too sad. We cover a lot of sad stuff, but it's just like really horrible. And I'm not sure if we have enough content to fill a whole episode with it, but
because they weren't able to rescue him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you've ever seen the hole where this guy got stuck, no one would ever think, let me go in there. I want to see what's in that. Why? And but they had been. He is not the first person to have gone in there. He just unfortunately was the one who got stuck and was never able to be removed. And people should look that one up. It's a good wiki read.
Oh, but not after this episode. Go watch something. Something tells me this episode is not going to be uplifting.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we're in Far Marathon, 900 feet long, 10 inches high, 2 feet wide.
900 feet. Okay.
One rescuer pushed on and encountered the first 2 bodies jamming the passage.
Wow.
After carefully crawling over them, which I have no idea how he managed to do that.
Right.
He found 3 more. Without finding the 6th, the rescuer turned back to group leader Jim Eyre and said, "Go back, Jim. They're dead." Yeah.
Were they going to try to bring them back? Okay.
Rescuers hurried out of the cave because the dam is in horrible shape.
Mm-hmm.
People are still actively trying to lower the water level. They're scared for themselves too.
Right.
So once they have this news, they're out of there.
Right. It's no longer a search and rescue mission. It's a recovery. Gotcha.
The dam had collapsed twice while they were in the cave. So, and
they're like the water levels like fluctuating while they're in there.
Yes.
How horrifying.
At this point, the dam was under constant repair, and rescuers were, at times, forming human barriers to keep the way clear. Unable to find the final caver, John Ogden, whose father was waiting at the entrance, the rescue team consulted the cave's discoverer, Bob Leakey. He led a team to where he thought John might have possibly found sanctuary from the surging waters in the tight maze of the cave, but because of the dam's feeble structure, he was forced to turn back. At 53 years old, that was Leakey's last caving trip. It kind of broke him.
I can imagine.
Yeah. He's, at the time that article was written, he was like 93, and he was still going. Not to caves, but in life.
Right. What? Well, because what a tragedy. I mean, how can you?
Yeah. On Tuesday night, Ogden's friend Brian Boardman led another expedition. After spotting a gold ring, he crawled to where he could see a boot poking out of an impossibly narrow crevice. Despite Ogden's otherworldly strength and determination to find any remaining air amongst the surging stream, he succumbed to the flood with his 5 fellow cavers.
Yes.
So he fought for every single inch. And he made it further than anyone else and wedged himself into the only place he could find, but he was still drowned with his friends.
Oh my goodness.
The coroner, after conferring with the victims' parents, suggested sealing the cave as a tomb because rescue was still going to be extremely difficult.
And
The cavers' bodies were nearly impossible to reach, and he didn't want anyone to endure the same fate should conditions change. A core tenet of the caving community is the notion that no one is ever left behind. No matter what, you get your man out. But after 4 days, 300 rescuers went home without having recovered the 6 bodies. In 1970, despite the cave being officially sealed, friends of the victims managed to find their way into the system and move the bodies to higher ground, later named the sanctuary.
Still within the cave?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And that's it. That's the Mossdale incident. They are still there.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Is this cave still open
otherwise?
otherwise?
I think it's sealed.
Okay.
I think, as far as I know, it is sealed. They managed to get their way in. I have no idea how, but they did, and were able to move people. It might be a portion of the cave that's sealed. People might be able to go into the like most,
front chamber thing. Yeah.
But where they are is meant to be sealed.
Oh man, how are caves over there created? Is it like limestone that's been worn away by water? Do you know? Is that a silly question? Sorry, that's probably.
Why would I know that?
I don't know. I
might have known that in college when I was studying over there.
When I think of the UK, I don't think caves.
No, I don't think most people would. The article I think called Mossdale like a geological freak accident because it's very uncommon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like looking, this looks like a very classic, just, pasture, stream. There is a cliff, like a rock face here that seems very tall, but there's nothing here that I would think caves yonder.
Yeah, you and me both. We are on the same page. I'm not sure. I really don't know. From what I was reading, this left a mark on caving in the UK, at least in this area, that perhaps not every place needs to be explored.
Yeah, so what were the implications? You normally have like a section that's like what happened and changed.
What I found was not so much like rules or laws that came out of it. That might very well be the case. I didn't find any in my research, but mostly just that everyone had really sad lives afterwards. Everyone else that was involved, it might have been Ogden's parents renamed their home Mossdale, which I thought was really morbid.
Yes.
The woman who
renamed their home?
Yeah.
Did they live in a castle?
I don't think so. But the woman who was engaged to one of the men who lost his life refused to ever talk about it again. Everyone just had a really, really hard life after that.
I could imagine having, as you said at the top of the episode, many complex emotions for those who survived, basically.
The two men, because it was the two women that turned back and then the two men. And the two men said, if any of the others had told us, like, said even a word, oh, we wish you'd stay, or we could use some help, they were like, we would have stayed. We would have sucked it up and we would have stayed. And I think they felt a lot of guilt that they felt like they chickened out.
Yeah,
and they should have been there. But obviously that's not the case.
Well, and what
Definitely
could they
not.
have done? It's not, I don't think any amount of banding together, it's you against the earth.
Yes.
And thousands of gallons of water rushing towards you in a teeny tiny little space. Like, there's just...
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I am really glad that my one kind of caving adventure is done and behind me. I enjoyed it in Belize.
It's not anything I have any desire to... Nope.
It was super fun. I just think if I'd heard about this and you've shared a few others before, I might not have done it because I'm claustrophobic just listening to this. And no matter how many guides are like, I'm an expert, come, I'll show you. Again, like we talked about at the beginning, it's now dawning on me just how, unless it's a very well-traveled cave, do you ever really know what's going on under the crust of the earth and in the crust of the earth? She's a mystery.
Not. She's
definitely a dangerous
is.
Mystery.
There was a place we went in Hawaii. We were on a black sand beach, and off to the side there was like a lava tube. Obviously not still in use. But
the volcano did not need it anymore. It's vacant.
A retired lava tube.
Retired.
And that was pretty closed off, and it was a tube, and everyone was walking in there, and it was really cool.
Was it?
Very big, person-sized.
I did not know they were that big.
Some of them are.
Wow.
But this one was really cool, fascinating, but the water was coming in. It's like, nope.
I don't even want to look at it.
Yeah, some of the waves in that area were huge, not where that lava tube was, but I was just getting anxious by what was going on around me and thought, no, thank you.
Was it going down into the ground, the lava tube?
It's been a while. Not so much. It was like a tube through... Oh, man. Now I'm saying many words, and it's been several years since I've been there.
That is typically how this podcast works. You say many words, I also say many words back, and on we go until one of us stops.
It wasn't going into the ground. It was like going into the side of a cliff area. But I think it was just the fact that it was kind of closed off. There were a lot of people going in and out of it, and the water was coming in, and I felt a little anxious about it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I have been so uncomfortable listening to a disaster in a very long time. This one made me deeply uncomfortable.
Good. That's what I'm here for.
Yes.
Things had gotten too light around here.
Apparently, because you hit us with a major whammy.
Sorry.
Man.
Especially because I don't have any uplifting news after this one.
No, that's why I'm like, is there anything you can tell me about how things
Maybe I
changed?
should have looked harder for...
How are these people's
One moment,
lives
please.
honored through new safety measures? Like, ugh.
I might have dropped the ball on the impact portion of this, but
like you said, I mean, it's there wasn't anything.
And to my knowledge, I think it just mostly had an impact on the community and the attitude towards caving. I think it was kind of a wake-up call for some people.
Yeah, that you can't just go willy-nilly into a cave and not expect to. Yeah.
This is a group of people, 19 to 26, who thought everything, I definitely remember, not like I was doing anything even remotely as dangerous as this. I'm still 26, but in that age range, I never did anything nearly as dangerous. But I remember feeling invincible, and I'm sure these people did too.
I have never felt that sense of invincibility ever in my life. I mean...
The first time I was ever actually scared for my safety was and not so much in a I'm gonna die sort of way, but was like I might get frostbite sort of way when we were in New Mexico backpacking, and it's like this could actually kind of become dangerous after a while. I don't think I'm gonna die out here, but I do think this is gonna be really unpleasant. Like, yeah.
And you went
although I'm
snowblind?
Sure that was later on in the trip. But
my
yes.
eyes are blistered. Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah,
your eyeballs do blister when you get snow blindness. It's horrible. Please wear sunglasses if you're out in the sun and snow, people. Always wear your sunglasses. It's always a good idea, but especially if you're in the snow, please learn from me. The ophthalmologist said it was very stupid, and I had to agree with him.
Prioritize your ocular health.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so that's it. That is the Mossdale incident.
Well,
sorry.
Thank you for your apology. Thank you for sharing this. Well done. Wonderful coverage, despite the fact that the topic is grim. I suppose that's comes with the disaster territory, which is unfortunate. But thank you for sharing it with us nonetheless. Best friends, be careful out there. Enjoy your adventure, but cautiously. You know what I mean? Cautious adventure.
Let people know where you are.
Yes, absolutely. Let people know where you are.
Yes, at
keep
all
in touch.
Times.
Yes,
yeah, with us too.
Keep in touch with us.
We email us if you're going for a hike or a walk.
Yes,
and you just want someone to know where you are.
You just want
someone to let us know.
Honestly, let us know where you're going to be, and we'll keep tabs. We'll keep tabs on you.
But please email us, rate, review, subscribe,
follow wherever you listen to podcasts. Tell your friends about us.
Everyone, don't start off with this episode. Maybe have them listen to something a little bit more uplifting,
lighter. Yeah.
But I feel like this one was decent. So eventually, tell them to look at some of the other episodes.
Fascinating.
First.
It's fascinating. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Moo, thank you so much. Thank you, best friends, for listening. We always, always appreciate it. And we'll see you here this time next week. What do you say?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.